You've been playing Portugal wrong this whole freaking time in Europa Universalis 4, but that's fine because I'm going to show you how exactly you're supposed to be playing as this amazing nation to make it not only the greatest colonial superpower, but also to make it an insane military power because of the unique flavor that it has. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and make sure to hit that like button. If we get 5,000 likes, I'll be doing a brand spanking new Castile video for Europa Universalis 4. In 1444, we do start with the Regency, which means we have to wait for 3 years before we can attack anyone. That's why we're gonna lower our army maintenance to nothing here. We're gonna also be deleting the fort in Evora since it is a grasslands fort, so it's not really the best place to defend in, nor is it gonna make any difference because we still have Lisbon. The main important fort is to keep the one in Ceuta, which guards the entrance into Europe from North Africa via the Straits of Gibraltar, plus it is a highland, so it's an easy place to defend in case of combat. Rival-wise, we're gonna go for the Moroccans, Tunisians, and depending on what exactly we want to do in the early campaign, either Castile or Aragon. In my case, Aragon has rivaled me, but I kind of want to rival the Castilians, despite the fact that we have historical friendship at the very start of the campaign. Grabbing a little bit of land into Castile will double our income and allow us to get even stronger and have an easier time going into the New World. We also can get claims on the northern parts of Castile by getting 100 relations with the English, which is easy to do. You just do 100, or better yet, 1 royal marriage, and then after we Clicius Maximus, we get morale of armies for 20 years, the permanent claims, and more relations with the English, with which we're going to be currying favors right after. Before anything else, let's go ahead and do our estates. It's going to be fairly standard, +1 mana privilege for all 3 of the estates. Summon the diet and go for whichever agenda best suits you. Then we go for religious diplomats, clerical education, and enforced unity of faith because we've got some non-Catholic provinces we eventually want to be converting. Increase levies for the extra manpower, supremacy over the crown, court positions to get extra prestige increase yearly, and before we give the patronage of the arts, we can also scornfully insult one of our rivals. This in turn means we get 10 power projection, and by embargoing our rivals too, we get an extra 2 power projection per embargo. Once we get 25 power projection, we get a leader without upkeep. Once we get 50, we get each mana points 1 extra, and because our prestige is down to 0, we now will give the patronage of the arts, which gives 20 prestige rather than 15, because this scales with the amount of prestige that you have. Indebted to the burgher, so we get the 1% loans, meaning we only pay 0.28 interest for 397 ducats. Burgher financial demand for the tax modifier, since early game tax is king, as well as burgher economic freedom for the merchant power and private trade fleet for the ship trade power, of course. The Portuguese also start with the unique Portuguese marine naval doctrine. We're going to go for that since it offers minus 50% a naval barrage, meaning it's 50% cheaper to destroy the walls of your enemy's cities. And you also get marine force limit and a few other goodies there. So after we do that, we also will get our very first flagship, build it up in Lisbon, make sure it's a light ship, give it a proper Portuguese name, and we're gonna give it the unique Portuguese ship traits that include exploration range plus 1.25, which will allow us to explore all the way to the New World before we even have colonial ideas, which is insane. Naval barrage minus 40%. This scales with the 50% from the naval doctrine. So in essence, it's 90% cheaper to destroy the walls of your enemy cities. For 5 military mana, you destroy everybody's coastal fortifications walls. That's why Portugal is actually one of the best military nations in the early campaign, because of this unique flavor that it has. Not only is it an amazing colonial nation, and last but not least, the ship trade power per ship in fleet +2. So that means every ship that is in the fleet that the flagship is in, including transports, including galleys, including heavy ships, will give +2 trade power. So your entire fleet you can use, despite not all of them being light ships, to get a lot of trade income from your nodes. Alright, that's 1.28 maintenance, so that's going to be pretty pricey, and it's 100 ducats. Now we also want to build some more barks. Bark. There you go, that should be enough for now. We also started with the level 2 50% cheaper advisor, Gomes Ianes de Zurara, which means we can get admin points a little bit faster, which means we'll be able to get our first idea set unlocked at admin tech 5 earlier, which means we're gonna go for exploration ideas and colonize the New World before anybody else even knows what hit them. Another awesome part is that we start with an explorer from day 1, so once we get the flagship done, this explorer will allow us to explore all the way till the New world. All of the Atlantic Ocean is going to be explored in the very first few years of the campaign. All we need to do is assign them into a fleet that includes our flagship. So for now, we're going to keep them with 3 light ships, and we can explore temporarily these 2 areas. Once the flagship is done, we put that in the fleet and we explore significantly more. So until the flagship is done, we're also going to set these guys to protect trade in Sevilla, and the rest of the actual fleet we're going to set to hunt pirates again in the Sevilla node, which is our main and only node as for the time being. Alliance wise, I'm going to get an ally with the Papal States. The really cool bit is that our mission tree gives us permanent claims on the entirety of Iberia once we grab a few more provinces within Castile, and we also get permanent 25 power projection. That means that we're always going to have 50 power projection till the end of the campaign once we get a certain bigger size, and we get the unique galleon and caravel ships that the Portuguese can attain after grabbing some lands in Morocco, launching our flagship, and having some shipyards, so fairly easy requirements. Majority of the mission tree, however, revolves around colonization, which should be your main concern as the Portuguese, because that's the fastest way to get ridiculously rich as them. You know what, I'm temporarily going to get Granada as a rival, because I do believe Granada is going to be disappearing fairly early on. Seeing as Castile already allied the English, I'm also going to accept their alliance offer. It's basically an easy buffer defending against anybody else around us, and whenever we have the chance to, we can attack them, grab those lands in Castile, and grow our size. But seeing as at the start of the campaign we cannot attack anyone anyway, and we want to really just be focusing on at least getting some colonies established before we start expanding into Europe, that alliance doesn't seem like the worst thing ever, does it? Portugal also has access to the local organizations, and there are quite a few of them. This is something unique to the Iberian nations, including Granada, Castile, Aragon, and Portugal, of course, and Andalusia for that matter. Whenever we click one of these, we will get one of either tax, production, or manpower development in each of the provinces in the state. So for just 50 mana points, we get 250 mana points worth of development. Totally worth it to get this in the early part of the campaign, if you ask me, since it scales and it gives you more as you progress, obviously, too. Local unrest is not too bad, but the main one here would be the local goods produced modifier. Holy snap, is that good for the rest of the campaign. Prosperity's growth and unrest reduction is not bad too, considering it gives production development, or if you really want to go for a military one, you can go for either one of these here. Personally, I really like either the local tax modifier, because in the early part of the campaign it helps massively, or the goods produced, because this helps for the entire campaign up until 1821. So I'm going to go for this in both of the provinces. It does set me back a little bit with my admin points, but I do believe it's worth it, because it's going to allow us to maintain a big army, a big navy, and just be a menace to everybody around. I mean, look at that. We literally grew by 1 ducat flat from just these 2 local organizations. In their early campaign, getting 1 ducat as a nation the size of Portugal is a big deal. Sacre bleu, we have our flagship. Let's merge this up with the rest of these ships over in Madeira. Take one of these light ships out, send it over to protect trade in Sevilla. And now, boys, check it out with the Funkso brother, North Atlantic. Let's go. Once that's explored, we open up more areas that we can explore all the way till the New World. Now, we are a little bit struggling because we built that flagship and it's pretty expensive, so I'm going to be selling off a few of my heavies to Castile, England, and whoever else would like to. Okay, looks like we pretty much just can sell it to Castile for 60 ducats, making an actual profit. And our king is now in charge, so we can start attacking other nations. We do have a truce with our Granadan rivals, so we cannot really attack them yet, but we could attack Morocco for the humiliation war CB. I will wait until I get the favors with the Castilians so that I have at least double the army size and an easier time to take out Morocco. Wait, what? The Duke of Coimbra till the end of his reign. Trade efficiency tax modifier on 1 stability. He has 15, so technically it should last for a while. Let's go for the trade efficiency national tax. That should be a little bit more of help. And let's continue to explore more. American East Coast now we can go. Look at that. We already explored Granada. And they want to buy my last ship for 50 ducats. You know what? I'll take it. Better than 40 that I'm getting from Brittany. Best part though is that now we are back to 1 profit ducats since our naval maintenance went from like almost 5 to 3. Heavy ships are extremely expensive and not really worth it in my opinion, especially in the early part of the campaign. Now we also need to recruit some more units, so let's go and get 16 to be close to our land force limit for whenever we do start our wars. Ooh, what have we found here, sir? Yeah, don't take a state statutory. This is literal bait. Never ever take that. Oh, Castile attacked Granada, so actually I'm just gonna wait for Castile to wipe out Morocco Morocco's armies and then swoop in after they're done with the Moroccans and get all the glory for myself. Yep, that's right, I'm one of those scumbags. Wait a second. People in the New World, we need to hide these maps and pretend we never saw nothing here. I mean, what maps are you talking about here? Nobody in the New World. Go away, bro. Can you imagine if the colonial nations actually decided to hide knowledge of the New World for like 200-300 years from the rest of Europe? I don't know if they would be able to do that, but that would be just insane, the difference between the colonial nations and the rest of Europe, wouldn't it? Alright, so now that my truce is over with Granada, I'm gonna do something really sneaky here, right? I'm gonna attack them with the Humiliation CB. Morocco is obviously not joining because they're besieged by everybody. Now, I know what you're thinking, Granada is gonna get fully annexed by Castile, which is fine. But if they don't get fully annexed and they have one province left, then that is 300 free mana points that I'm getting from enforcing the show of strength CB on them, which gives me 100 of each mana points and 30 power projection. So it's worth it. Plus, I also get 10 power projection from declaring war on my rival Granada. So it's, again, super worth it. Let's also go ahead and recruit one more unit so we do the mission that gives us claims on Morocco so we can attack them after we're happy with the amount of troops they have left. And we also start with Earl of Avranches, so we can assign him as leader of our army, and we can also get military access from our good buddies over in Castile. Oh, we can get a very first Diplotech force, so we got 4 innovation from that to Juse. 435 air. I mean, he's not amazing, but his name shall be Avaragicus in honor of the fact that he's mid as fuck. Maybe we should have called him Mid-Fuckius. That would have been more appropriate, wouldn't it? And we're exploring Zekarabayan, or as I like to call it, the Little Schnappledupia. You got gold, we need it land. That's the actual full name, by the way. What I'm trying to say here is that I'm actually going to make sure nobody else knows there's gold here. Yep, I'm a scumbag. I'm an actual scumbag. So I guess we are playing historical colonials. I said it. I freaking said it. Hey, can you guys like not fight right next to me? How does this even work? Do you have like a 20,000 armies and then another army randomly comes next to your army IRL and your army doesn't do anything? Like, how does that even work, my dude? This wouldn't be the case. Like, has there ever been a moment in history where 2 armies were fighting and a third one that didn't take part on either side was just looking at them killing each other off? I really need to know that. Oh, make the natives angry or pay them off and I get 50 diplo. I really want the diplo though, even though financially I cannot really afford that, but it's fine. We actually don't pay for our units. We're making 2.4 ducats, so we're really golden right now. And I don't need to pay my units because Granada does not actually have any units left. Should we antagonize the Yakimo or should we not give a I'm just not going to give a schnaps, really. I'm actually not going to give a schnaps. All right, we can do admin tech 4 and we got up to 95% force limit and army force limit, so we can get those claims on more of our allies' lands as well as the North African parts of Morocco. Plus we launched a flagship so we can get a shipyard in Lisbon, 20 army tradition, and by army I really mean navy. So once we get a few more shipyards, we can do the special galleon and caravel ships available to the Portuguese. I have to say I really like it that we keep getting different events whenever we're exploring the new world. You can get money, you can get mana points, you can get prestige, you can even get a girlfriend. I'm just joking. You're never gonna get a girlfriend. You hear me now? You play EU4 for Christ's sake. What do you think? Okay there, buddy. Looks like Castile is literally about to take this 35% chance, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna attack them. Set sail as the main war target since that's the highest development. Okay, seriously, England is the biggest warmonger in this entire session. They've been taking out all of the Irish homies here. Tyrone, Tyrese, Tyrconnell, Scooby, and Conan from The Daily Show. I'm not sure what the hell he was doing here, but no one's ever gonna find out. And would you look at that, we've got most of the coastline of South America, all of the coastline of North America on our side, and the Caribbean's already explored. So the juice is definitely about to begin, my boys. Oh, the plot has sussened, guys. Get it? Because Sus is declaring their independence, so it's a very suspicious situation. All right there, buddy boy. No worries. No worries. We got your back, Sus. We got you, bro. We're gonna help you get that independence you always dreamed about. All right, so now what we're gonna get from them is we're mainly gonna take the northern parts. Unfortunately, the Castilians grabbed 2 of the provinces that I would have loved to take, but it's fine. We're taking the fortification in Fez, which pretty much ensures that we're gonna have domination in the north of Africa for any future war afterwards. I could take Meknes too, but I just don't want to use my extra admin points to core that up because I want to go down the colonial path. I am gonna take a little bit of money as well, so we can fuel said colonial ambitions, and we're going to bring our units back home. We're also going to be concentrating here in central Morocco, so we make this a little bit cheaper to core up afterwards. And what we're going to do here is we're going to delete the fort in Ceuta, because the fort in Fez basically does the same thing as the one in Ceuta, and it has a zone of control over both Ceuta and all the other adjacent provinces here, and it's a mountain fort, so it's even harder for enemies to take this, and we get a defender advantage if we have to fight here. All right, so now we're also going to be building up our market in Lisbon, and then a second one in Porto, so we get a little bit more out of our trade node. Right now, we don't have too much out of it. We got 60% of the trade node, so we do have significantly more than the Castilians at the very least, right? The last jousting tournament, and we get the morale of armies and everything else with it. Now, the question is, were there really that many jousts in Portugal during this time period? I feel like there were not that many, were there? We're also getting some claims in to Tlemcen, so we can advance a little bit more into North Africa when the time arises. Morocco is likely going to disappear at some point because they lost Marrakesh too, and they lost us and everybody else. Either I'm going to vassalize them in the next war myself if nobody else attacks them, and then I'm just going to feed them all the rest of their cores, or something along that line. Alright boys, it is time for colonialismos. So we're going to go exploration, which allows us to recruit explorers, conquistadors, get a colonist, increase the colonial range, which means we're going to be able to go all the way to the Caribbean super fast. If we were to go expansion first, it actually might not be so bad because we would have access to Cape Verde, and then we can just hop on over to the New World. But we don't want to use those admin points to unlock ideas. We want to use the admin points to go down to admin tech 7, and then we can go expansion as our second idea and use the remaining admin afterwards to just get the 2 colonist settler chance, 20 settler increase, and so on. And considering we also have 50 settler increase from our age ability, we're just insanely powerful when it comes down to the colonial path. Okay, let's see. Oh my god, Palatinat got what? Holy that is the first time I've seen that happen. That is actually insane. Can they even hold on to that? They got Liberty Desire 100. Looks like Burgundy might actually be independent in this run, guys. All right, speaking of the age ability, that is going to be the first one we're going for here. So whenever we do get the settlers, it's going to be super quick to get those colonies established. And no, England, I'm not giving you schnapps. Get the schnapple dupe out of here. In fact, I'm going to ask you for stuff. Do I want anything from you? I don't want. Okay, I'm not going to ask you for anything. Go away, England. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be attacking Tlemcen because they're already in a war. I'm going to do humiliate war against them. Unfortunately, the one time in which we did not want the Castilians to get the Aragonese PU, they got it. Bro, they got it so fast. It is actually wild. But hey, it is what it is. We got to work with what we have, right? Oh, Tafilalt, what the schnabadoms? My brother, you need to come right the schnapps now. Also going to recruit a conquistador so I can use them in the New World for strategic exploration reasons. Whoa, Avaricus is silver-tongued. Well, that's going to make his future wife very happy, isn't it? The plague. If only we could actually pay 22 ducats and get rid of it historically, that would have been something, wouldn't it? And it's a Jover for Tlemcen. Gonna wipe out that army so I can get a little bit more army tradition. And now it's time for 100 of each mana points, and we also get that juicy humiliate rival through a peace deal age objective. Obviously, we'll be going for the friendliest of native policies, which Monsieur Castro is going to be more than happy to enforce. And we got Beyond the Cape mission done, so we can get 20% settler chance for 15 years. Basically, it means that we're going to have insanely quick colonies established, 105 spread per year in 1465, and 34% settler chance. Now that we border Jolaf, of course, we're going to be getting a claim and attacking them. We actually want to get the entirety of the Ivory Coast line here so we can establish a trade company in the Ivory Coast and work our way all the way down to Congo, and then eventually use that as a launching platform for getting into Asia too in the 1400s, a unique ability that only the Portuguese can rejoice out of all Europeans. What an absolute amazing spot for the rebels to spawn, and just as I said that, we got more Sunni zealots in a not so amazing spot for them to spawn. Alright, you scumbag natives, time to show me all your bobs and veganas. Give me all the Ivory Coast, right now, give it to me. We will have to colonize most of the Ivory Coast, but that is not a priority. We're going to do that way later. We want to prioritize colonizing into the coast of South America, but more importantly into the Caribbeans before before the Castilians arrive and then work our way into the Mexican parts. North America is going to be the last one, since at the start of the campaign, this is where the least amount of monies you're going to be able to get from. All your trade is going to be filtering in to the Caribbean, and then from there into the civilian node. The more provinces you got, the more trade, the more production, the more value you got. So we need to get a hold of that. Oh, come on. Really? Why you do this to me, Kabu? I've only been super nice to you so far. Granted, I literally just met you, but I still, my point stands, I have been really nice to you, okay? Oh my dude, this is insane. We freaking got colonist rush already. Holy snaps, dude. 5% more settler chance, 25 global settler increase. So we're going up to freaking 37% settler chance and 130 spread. Ooh. I guess Wolof itself is going to be annexed by Kabu, and then I just attack Kabu and take their snaps instead. Let me actually get that claim now, so I get that on Kabu once these guys disappear. And we got colonization of West Africa, 100 Diplo, and 1 explorer with 60 traditions. You know what? I'm also going to be selling some of my crownlands here because I do need the money, and I'm going to seize crownlands afterwards, so I get back to 17.5% crownlands, which is not really so bad considering we're at peace. So the 0.1 autonomy debuff that we're getting doesn't really affect us as much. And I'm going to do another thing here. I'm going to go for the nobility expedition rights, which gives me colony cost modifier up to maximum of minus 50%, making our colonies 50% cheaper to acquire as consequence. So definitely worth it. Another older privilege is establish new world mission that you want to give out. And there's one more for the burgers once I am actually able to cancel one of the current burger privileges. Actually, no, I can just pay off my loans. There you go. And that means we don't have the burger loan privilege, which means we can give out the settler plus 5% and a flat 10 settler increase. So now, guys, we went up to 140 settlers and 40% settler chance with basically 80% of the colony done right now. So this is actually 47% settler chance and 1470. Like, what? Okay, what the hell happened here, man? How the schnaps did Jolof win against Kabu? This is intentional, I swear. The AI is messing with me because now I cannot attack Kabu, and I gotta wait for the truce with freaking Jolof to finish in like 1,000 years. Tucking me from the rest of West Africa already. I'm also gonna start my golden era, which is gonna give me a massive amount of bonuses, and I'm also gonna do the higher development colony, which gives me colony development boost +1. Together with the settler chance, it is actually insane. Hails to the Alright, now let's see where we can colonize up next. Look at that. We can straight up go for Puerto Rico as our next colony. Oh my dude, this is just so broken. Imagine that, bro. If we get the advisor for the extra colonial range, we could definitely start colonizing right next to the Mexicans, and then we just slap on over all of our armies to Mexico and wipe them out. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna get Puerto Rico since it's one of the better colonies. And check it out, guys. Since we got this established with the higher development colony bonus, we also have 6 development in Cape Verde now rather than the 3 we would have gotten otherwise. Colonist has arrived. We're gonna recall him because we're gonna have some bigger plans for him. Namely, we're gonna colonize into Brazil. We're gonna have 2 active colonies at the same time. Because of the privilege that we gave to the nobility, it shouldn't cost us as much as it would otherwise. And starting to just get this colony next to Potiguara means we can attack them and we can start getting more lands in South America significantly faster. Oh, emergence of the Fulani. Nice. More people to wipe out. I mean, hey, awesome friends in Africa. We do have to reestablish the colony of Puerto Rico because apparently, I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, let's just say the colonists went missing, which is weird because there's nobody living here, so I cannot explain for the life of me how they went missing. It makes no sense. Oh, baby, 10 more flat settlers. Oh, skibbity boo, 150 a year. Now, we have some new decisions from the privileges we gave out earlier. One of them is to increase our colonial range by 10%, so we can go further than Puerto Rico. And we also get an explorer with 100 traditions. We can do the same from New World missions, and we can also get a conquistador with 60 tradition at the cost of 15 loyalty for the nobility. We actually could do that now. Now we can also get another 5% settler chance from exile colonial companies. I'm not even joking, guys. The amount of colonial focused schnaps that Portugal has is just actually ridiculous. Go ahead and get that claim now so we can attack yo, schmack yo, their mouth yo. How dare you keep your mother schnapp flippin' nation out of my wife's face stuff, okay? Imagine if Will Smith was colonizing. Just picture me a little bit darker skinned and wearing a penis ring. Now, Joloff is gonna be part of our trade companies, boyos. So we're gonna either add each of these individually to the trade company, or we can go to the trade screen, Calicius, Butnus, all the provinces within this trade node that are not a full state will now be added to the trade company. Once our trade company has 51% trade power in this particular trade node, we will get a merchant, and that should be fairly soon. Since the only two areas that are by the coastline and for me able to core are Crato and Bukia, these are the two I'm getting. I'm not actually annexing migratory tribe, because me annexing these two provinces simply means the tribes are going to migrate to an adjacent province that I'm going to attack whenever the truce is over with them again, and as such, rinse and repeat every few years. We get one free colony province from these lands in South America, and I'll just do the same thing to everybody everywhere, including North America and so on. Significantly faster expansion, and as such, significantly faster establishing our colonies and growing them too. Well, it seems like Fulo managed to be a cool dude and wipe out Joloff for me, so now I'm gonna wipe out Fulo and at the very least get my Ivory Coast provinces. Now seriously though, can we get an F in the chat for the armies of Fulo? They literally lived for a good 3 years and then they just went back into obscurance. It's like they never really existed. And we just got Puerto Rico, which in case you didn't know, it means subscribe to Ludi at Historia in Spanish. It totally does not mean a rich harbor. It's the first one, okay? Shut up. Actually, I'm gonna colonize Guane, because then I can still get claims on Coco Melon over here and start expanding in that direction too. Do we have any Fulo people watching this? Probably not, but if we do, what does Tech Roar mean? Is that like a pool capital that literally will speak Portuguese in a few years? Is that what that means? Because that's exactly what's about to happen, boys. These bad boys are gonna start going over to the New World now, because they gotta spread some gifts around to, well, actually there's nobody there, so I don't know what the hell they're actually gonna be doing there, really. So the reason I kept getting a spy network in Coco Melon is because I can use my spy network to steal the maps of Mexico from them. So now I know significantly more provinces in here, 52 to be more precise. And we also managed to bring some of our more prestigious cannons from Europe to greet the natives and civilize them, really. This is Bibles and cannons is all you need to civilize a new world, in my opinion. The new world beckons. Another 5% settler chance, and oh my god, dude. What the hell, bro? Why am I getting old? Oh, it's because Alfonso is an expansionist. We got this event. Yep, I am genuinely in love with this freaking run. Okay, we got 5 colonies, so that means we can afterwards establish Mexico, or whatever I'm gonna decide to call it. And now let's get claims on everybody else around here, because it's time to make sure there's nobody left by the time the Castilians arrive in these lands. Oh, we got our very first colony. We're gonna set this up as a self-governing colony, so this way it will have an easier time colonizing the new world for itself, and no, it is not going to be called Brazil. You see, the story of this particular colony is a very deep and complicated story. To make it really short, it was established by a lot of seamen traveling on ships, so it's obviously going to be called Come Brazil. Come Brazil. It's a historically accurate name. Don't question it. Whilst Mexico is getting established, it's also time we get historically accurate Portuguese Louisiana in the whole, because everybody knows Portugal's the real nation to have first off colonized Louisiana. And wait, is that not, wait, this is Texas, isn't it? Louisiana's a little bit more to, oh god. Oh, all right, fine. You know what? Maybe I don't know geography, okay? And if you ask me, it's really a handicap. So you should pay more respect to me. As a smooth brain, it's hard going through life for me, okay? All right, boys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave that like so we can do Castile. And don't forget to subscribe for more eternal salvation, or to maybe just keep your wallet. One of the two.